Really exciting for your journey to be here today when we've got this historic event coming up March the 7th for this full female undercard. How does that feel for you? Because this journey's been a long one.
Yeah, it's been a long one with ups and downs, emotions everywhere. But it's still one that I feel I can compete in and I can win. I've still got that drive and that motivation to keep on seeing where my ceiling is. And so far, I haven't found it, so I'm going to keep pressing on.
I feel like that's a universal feeling about you as well. It doesn't feel like when I actually learned how your age, I was like, surely not, no way. But I mean, one of the things I love about boxing is the mental aspect. And do you feel that because you've had to push so hard, because women's boxing has been a slow burner, and it feels like it's only now getting a kind of a real push, the energy behind it, the exposure, more of these kind of events. Do you feel like that's actually strengthened your ability to handle pressure because you're like, I was doing it before it was like a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely a strength in struggle. So when we came through the England squad and there was no kit and we was very underfunded and we couldn't always get to the tournaments and we didn't have much support, that makes you want to do well, to prove everyone wrong and to prove yourself right and to just break down that door to say we're here to stay and we deserve to be here more than anything. And I think there's a strength in that. And you get onto the GB squads and first ever GB squad, we're battling against the best females in the country to trying to go to that one qualifier, finally get to the qualifier, qualify, get to the Olympics. So and then the same, you have to keep. We're riding the crest of a wave at the moment. You have to keep doing that, but I do, like I say, I'm repeating myself here, but I do think there's a strength in the struggle, and I'm proud to now say that females don't have to do that. But I feel like it's made me a better person and athlete having to go through that.
Do you think that that gives you the upper hand going into this fight because you've had to go through, like, you are one of the reasons that Lauren is doing what she's doing? Do you know what I mean? So do you think that gives you that kind of that edge?
It doesn't, but I do. For me personally, I just think, yeah, I've been through it all, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally.
Unshakable at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. At this point, throw out what I've had the kitchen sink and everything else thrown at me. So, yeah, for me personally, I don't know if I don't think it'll affect Lauren, but for me personally, it does.
So when I did my first fight, I got a concussion. And it shook me, and it took me about 6 months to really kind of find my flow again in sparring. What's your advice and guidance to boxers? Because that can stop a journey with boxing. That one injury or that one moment where you're like, "What the hell am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
this is crazy."
I
What
have
would your
them every time. So if you're going through that, where you're thinking, "What am I doing here?" Don't worry, we all do that, even at the top. So that's nothing new. The thing is, for me, like I say, I'm always trying to develop myself and trying to, you know, people are quick to put barriers up or to put limits on and that's not just in boxing, that's in life. So I'm always trying to push that barrier, or knock down that wall, or go a bit further than people say I can, just for my own sanity, to know that just because you said it doesn't mean I have to abide by it. So, that's my motivation. I think you just have to find yours. What is it that makes you happy? What is it that gets you up out of bed? What gives you that drive to be better, do better, be positive? And you have to find that. And once you find that in whatever it is, run with it.
Yeah. It's like the what's your why situation. Like,
Hundred
why did you
percent.
start? So why are you going to keep going?
Yeah,
And
100%.
what would you give as a piece of advice? Because my big thing is that I'd love to see just more women in the sport in general, not to go and be a professional, but to come and train, to be in the gyms, because I feel like it's a space where women can, I don't know, take back a bit of ownership of themselves, take back some strength. Like, I found that I pulled my shoulders back more when I learned how to box because I felt like I had a fitness and a strength and a capability that I didn't have before. I used to kind of walk through life like this, and it helped me pull my shoulders back. What would you advise women, even if they weren't going to go down the same route you have done and make it professional, but just what's the sport done for you? And what do you think you could say to people to encourage them to kind of follow in your footsteps a little bit?
Well, I think that the biggest step about any situation is the first one, and it's just taking that leap. You have so many stereotypes, and you build it up to be something. 9 times out of 10, it isn't. And so to walk through, we all have these stereotypes about what being in a gym is like, and especially a boxing gym,
Hmm.
which is predominantly male
Men.
dominated. You've got these, notions about what the space is going to be like you said. But once you actually take that step and get into it, you realize that it's not really like
It's not that
anything,
bad. Yeah.
anything like you thought. So take the step is the most important, and then yeah, just I forgot the first part of your question.
Just encouraging women to get into the gyms. How could what would you kind of advise them or encourage them, or even a little tidbit from your journey that you've enjoyed so much about it?
Yeah, I think I've never known where it's going, and I've never put a thing of a plan in place where, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. I just kind of stay in the moment. I've had a big dream of going to the Olympics since I was 4. It took me 24 years,
Mm.
105 sports, but I got there in the end. But I didn't plan any of that. I was in a totally different sport. I was in football, whatever. But just being present and doing the best in the moment, and you'll find your way. A path will open up for you, but it's opened so many doors for me. I wasn't someone who was great academically. I wasn't someone who was always confident. I always had, I feel, great stuff to say, but not a platform to say it from. And now I've got a positive platform where people want to listen to what I said, and that not so quiet little girl that I didn't think voice anyone wanted to hear what she had to say has now got a platform to that people want to listen to, and I try and use that as positively as I can, especially for the young people in Liverpool and beyond, to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And there's so much bigger walls than the city of Liverpool, and all sport. You ask an employee what they want from their employer. They'll say dedication, they'll say motivation, work as a team, work by themselves, be self-motivated, you know be punctual, turn up, perform at their best. And that's what everything I've learned through sport.
Yeah.
So that's what it's done
Amazing.
for me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate